So welcome. Again, my name is Colleen Halligan-Priniger, and I am the Associate Dean for Religious and Spiritual Life and Director of Student Engagement here. And we are so excited to welcome you to this community welcome. I'd like to start by inviting to orient you to who's in the room. So we're going to have our staff introduce ourselves, and then we're going to have a multi-faith panel. So you can hear from current students in a variety of our groups and in variety of traditions, so that you can just sort of hear about their experience. And then at the very end, we're going to put you into some small groups so you can meet some humans. If we were in person, we would be in the circle, which is located in Old Union on the 3rd floor in this building behind me. And the sanctuary space, you can see our panelists have the circle sanctuary in there. We would be there, we would throw a huge party, we would give you boba and all sorts of delicious things to eat, and you would be able to mingle and meet. And so we know this is not exactly that, but hopefully our small group time at the end will just allow you to meet some other people and to start some connections that'll be important. We are so excited to connect to you. So I would like to have our staff introduce. I'm gonna invite our dean to begin.
Welcome. We are so delighted that you're joining us here on the farm. My name is Tiffany Steinwert, and I serve in the Office for Religious Life. And I'd like to also take this moment to introduce Rabbi Patricia Newman, Carla Newman, who is not here. She has become a grandmother for the 2nd time this week, and so is spending time with her new grandbaby. But Colleen, Patricia, and I serve here as spiritual guideposts and guides along the way to help accompany you. I'd like to turn it over to Diane to introduce herself.
Hi everybody, I'm Diana Bundabar. I am the Director of Events and the Program Manager for the Rathbun Fund for Exploring What Leads to a Meaningful Life. It's a bit of a mouthful. Okay, John?
My name is John Click. I'm the Operations Coordinator on the administrative team for the Office for Religious and Spiritual Life. And I'd like to hand that off now to Robert.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Robert Hugh Morgan. I'm the university organist at Stanford and basically keep an eye on everything that goes on with music at Memorial Church. And following me is Ruby.
Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Ruby. I'm the Executive Assistant for Dean Tiffany Steinwert, and I'm also the Office Manager for the Brown. Pass it back to Colleen.
Excellent. Well, these are the folks that serve in our office, and hopefully you'll get to know all of us in our own way during your time here at Stanford. Again, my name is Colleen. I serve as the Director of Student Engagement, and I am your person. So if you have any questions, you need to be connected in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll put my information in the chat. We also, if you would like to connect to about specific things and specific traditions or to a specific group, there's an interest form that I just put in the chat for you, and you can fill that out, and then I'll send you an email with whatever information you are that you are requesting. So please use this form, and we want to connect you to the things that are meaningful to you. Here at the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life, we want to connect you in meaningful ways. If you have a religious tradition, we would like to connect you so that you can find meaningful communities in your tradition. If you'd like to engage in multi-faith or interfaith ways, we have lots of ways for you to do that, both through our Stanford Associated Religions and through programs that we offer generally through our office. We have weekly contemplative and meditative events that we are holding virtually this quarter that are a wonderful way for you to connect and to promote your spiritual wellness and cultivate peace in the midst of a busy quarter. We also have lovely music and all the things. So it's too many things to say in one tiny elevator speech, but we would really love to connect you in meaningful ways in whatever ways we can. Oh, one person that we missed on our staff that I'd like him to briefly introduce himself is Michael. So Michael, could you unmute yourself and just tell us your name and your role in our office?
Hi, sorry my video is not up right now, but I'm Michael. I'm usually the sound technician when we have live events, but I've been kind of evolved into, I don't know, a tech video type of person. So I kind of help on the back end type of things, but nice to meet everybody. Sorry you can't see me, but I can see you, and it's beautiful to see everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. So I'm going to give it to Gift, and Gift is going to facilitate our multi-faith panel. So Gift, take it away.
Thank you for kicking us off, Colleen. So my name is Gift, and I am a PhD student in electrical engineering. Over the years, I've also been involved with the Office for Religious Life in various capacities. I'm a regular volunteer at Memorial Church, and then last year I was part of the Rabbi Fellowship for Religious Life. So today I'm going to be facilitating our panel, and one housekeeping item that we have is, I think as our panelists answer questions, I think some questions will come from the audience. We ask you, if possible, to save those for the breakout rooms that we'll have later. But then if it's something that's really burning, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll address it either during the panel or later on, we'll follow up with you. And with that, I would like to get our panel kicked off. And first, I would like to invite our panelists to speak about their faith backgrounds and the religious groups that they're involved with. And we'll kick off with Aparna.
Hello everyone, I'm Aparna, and I'm a master's student in electrical engineering, and I'm also currently a board member of the Hindu Students Association. So this is my second year at Stanford, and earlier I used to be, I was attending the Hindu Students Association events, and then I got interested in being a board member as well. And the aim of our association is to basically bring together people who are interested in Hinduism or are like already associated with Hinduism to strengthen the bond with their own religion and culture. And also we organize weekly events and celebrate important festivals as well.
Thank you, Aparna. We'll move on to Diogo.
Hello, everybody. My name is Diogo Bragança. I'm a rising fourth year PhD student in physics, and I'm part of the Catholic community. This year, they had the courage to put me on the leadership that I wouldn't trust, but okay, let's see how it works. But we feel free to join us in our Monday community nights where we get together, all the grad students. You don't have to be Catholic to join, you can just show up. We used to have dinner, but unfortunately, due to the circumstances, we cannot. There is also the Mass. There's like online Mass if people want to go to see. It's usually Sundays at 4:30. And I also belong to one faith sharing group. We call them small groups. And that's just amazing. That's where I made probably my very good friends at Stanford. So yeah, so feel free to reach out and to like no commitments, and yeah. There's also RCIA if people want to go. I mean, RCIA is like if you want to know more about Christianity or the Catholic Church. Here, Father Xavier here, he's present here and he's running that. And there's always many people there from different faith backgrounds, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Diogo. Up next, we have Elaine.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Stanford for incoming grad students. I will be a third-year grad student in religious studies, and I am the co-president of the Buddhist community at Stanford, better known as BCAS. And we are a group that is open to all folks. So folks of multiple faith backgrounds, students, staff, faculty, members of the Stanford community who are interested in practicing in community and exploring Buddhist forms of thought and contemplation. We are really here to have a strong friendship and support network for each other in our spiritual journeys and what can be a really difficult time in grad school. And so we have regular meditations 3 times a week. Originally, they were at the Circle, which is really beautiful. And some of our panelists have their background right now, showing the circle with the pillars. But now we've switched everything to Zoom. And we also have weekly meetings this year. We partnered with the Office of Religious Life, and we'll be doing a book reading together of a book called Radical Dharma, Talking Race, Love, and Liberation. So I've already heard a number of people interested in this book for various reasons, some Buddhist, some non-Buddhist. So if you're interested in joining, they will be on Sundays from 2 to 3. And for those who want to meditate and practice a little beforehand, we'll begin at 1:30. So I really hope to see you all sometime at our virtual events. We also are open to inviting distinguished practitioners and hosting panels. So we're open to all suggestions. Thanks.
Thank you, Elaine. Up next, we have Oscar.
Hi, y'all. I'm Oscar. I'm from Switzerland, and I've been at Stanford for 3 years doing my PhD in renewable energy. And I'm Christian, and I am really thankful for the sacrifice that Jesus Christ did to pay for my freedom. And I go to Chi Alpha, which is a community of students earnestly following Jesus. What we do is we study together the word, we pray, we used to share meals together, these days less, and we mourn and we laugh together. But most of all, we're really just building friendships and encouraging each other in our spiritual growth. And Chi Alpha also has undergrads, but we have a very vibrant grad community which meets on Mondays at 7 p.m. And the greater Chi Alpha community meets on Wednesdays at 7:30. And everybody is welcome. If you're Christian, if you're atheist, or if it's complicated, everybody's welcome. Just the way you are, come. Yeah, I'm happy to answer more questions later in the Hangouts.
Thank you, Oscar. Next, we'll hear from Saba.
Hi everyone, I'm Saba. I'm a rising 5th-year PhD student in computer science, and I'm also the president of the Baha'i Student Association this year. So we're kind of a smaller group than some of the other groups, but we have weekly musical devotional gatherings that everyone is welcome to join, which we do on Saturday afternoons. And we also throughout the year hold events for Baha'i Holy Days. So yeah, you're welcome to join us.
All right, thanks, Saba. And then we'll lastly hear from Zainab.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zainab. I am a 4th-year grad student in education and psychology. And I'm here from the Muslim Student Union. So we hold various types of event. We held various types of event last year, and things have just been shifting so much that finding flexible ways to do the same thing again, it's taking some work, but we hold the Jummah prayers. We hold events during Ramadan to celebrate and commemorate Ramadan during the month, celebrate various holy days, etc., through different kinds of events. And there will be a lot forthcoming in terms of how that's going to be transitioning into an online platform.
Thank you, Zainab. So to get things kicked off with the panel, the first set of questions that I have around how you found faith practice in the Stanford community, and what role that faith community has played in your experience at Stanford so far. And I would like to hear from first Zainab and then Diogo.
Can you repeat the first part of your question?
How has faith practice helped you find community at Stanford?
I think that, I mean, I can speak very practically in terms of my experience as a Muslim. I think naturally, often one of the first things that you try to do is to find a place to pray. And so because it's a daily practice, and I think that was one of the first ways that faith and practicing faith led me to the structure in which other Muslim students were present. And that was one of the first places where I got to know a lot of the other Muslims and just kind of get to know the community and who's there and what's held. And then I think from there on, that's how I joined the leadership and just kind of started participating in the different kinds of programs and then also planning different events. And I think the second part of your question was, there was a second part as well.
So after finding this community, what continuing role has it played in your experience here at Stanford?
Yeah, I mean, many different ways. I think it's a little bit difficult to, this is also partially because my research is somewhat connected to Muslim societies. So in many ways, academically, it has helped in terms of getting to know other people who have similar research interests, but then also in terms of just my own psychosocial health and even physical health, in connecting with other people and in getting to know just like community and having a place to belong has been especially important at Stanford because it's such a large community and diverse community. And I think it's been an especially important place in just feeling grounded and staying focused and just feeling well, like it gives a very holistic feeling when you feel like there is a community and you are a part of a community and your needs, just like normal psychosocial needs, are met while you're able to pursue your education. It's nice.
Yeah, thank you. I really resonated with what you said about belonging, and I think kind of bolstering all these areas of health. Diogo, can you share with us?
Yeah, sure. So the first part, how did I find the community with the faith practice? I think so when I arrived at Stanford, like first year grad student, and came from another continent, the other side of the world, and I was a bit I don't know, I didn't really know how to start, how to meet people, and when you don't have friends, you are a bit shy, and you just spend your time in the Bechtel International Center and to try to meet other people. But the second I went to Mass, the first Mass there, the first Mass that was actually, at the time, we could have Mass at Memorial Church. Also, I was alone. And then at the end of the Mass, there's this incredible person that shows up with a smile, and she's here, it's Lourdes. And she just says, "Oh, hello, welcome," and all of that. And it was really good to immediately know that there are these people that share those core beliefs with you at Stanford, and you automatically feel super connected. And from there, then as I said, I talked about the small groups where it's like groups for like 5 to 8 people, if you want, or less. And that was also great to get together weekly, talk about the Bible, and to share the faith, share about how our prayer life is going. Because to me, it's really hard to leave the faith alone. So I always need people to help push me and all that. And so that was really good. Another very good thing here at Stanford was the fact that I was able, with that Catholic community, to really develop a few strong, deep friendships. And to me, that's extremely satisfying and realizing, and that takes time. But eventually, it's really good that you are able to share these things with 2 or 3 people that you know really well, and they are like your brothers. And that's really good.
Then I think Oscar also had an additional perspective about being an international. So if you can briefly share that with us before we move on to the next question.
Yeah, sure. Well, I came from Switzerland to the US to start my studies here. Was my first visit to the US, and it was quite a culture shock. I didn't expect it to be, but it was. And it took me like a year to actually make American friends. And those my first American friends that I made were in Chi Alpha. So my faith community really was a huge help for me to connect also just with American culture. And I think that was particularly helpful because Chi Alpha is very mixed. It has people from all over the world and also Americans. So it's very intermingled, and I was just welcomed the way I was and didn't have to adapt to the local culture, and I could just be myself and connect with people the way I was. So that was a huge help for me. And yeah, I'm really thankful for that. And that's why I'm now volunteering to give back.
Thank you so much. So I think one thing that has come up as we've been answering this question is I think it takes time to find a particular faith community. And so the next question that I have is around basically the experience of exploring faith and practice on campus, kind of be it finding a group or integrating into a group. And then we've also had a little bit about this in the previous question, but the other question that comes with this is, how does practicing your faith impact your well-being and sense of belonging at Stanford? And for this question, I will hear from Saba first, and then Elaine.
Sure. So I think in terms of what's the best way to explore your faith and practice, I don't know that there's any wrong way to do it. But one thing to note is that all of the groups here are super open, super inviting. And often they'll do events together. And it's very easy to walk up to someone in some group and they're always happy to talk to you, which I think is really fantastic and unique. In terms of how practicing faith, what impact it has on well-being and sense of belonging, I think a lot of the people in the previous question answered this too, but the faith communities are a great way to have a group you can go back to and always feel like you belong. Another thing I want to mention is that the staff in the Office of Religious Life, I guess now it's ORSL, is they're super friendly too. So regardless of what your religious background is and what their religious background is, they're always happy to talk to you, and they're really, really nice. I feel like I belong in my own religious community, and whenever I go to one of these kind of interreligious events, they make everyone feel very welcome too. So I think in terms of exploring your faith and practice, the group of people here are fantastic for doing this.
So one, I just want to point out that ORL has done an amazing job of collecting all the information of these different faith groups. So go to the ORL website and check out the tab on, the different religious groups on campus. And you can find a lot of information there. Aside from that, I think seeing everyone in this panel today, I echo what Saba said, that we're all very open to hearing from you. So feel free to connect directly with the emails that you see on that website. If you're interested in Buddhism, feel free to email us or to join that listserv. There are other Buddhist associations on campus. You can do the same. So yeah, please use these online resources at this time. And then in terms of well-being and belonging, I also want to just echo what Diogo and Oscar have said, that I've formed really important friendships through the Buddhist community at Stanford. And I've had the chance to meet so many people from different departments that otherwise I wouldn't come into contact with. Studying in the humanities, I'm on a different part of the campus, literally. So I've met people who are studying in the med school or in econ or poli-sci. And I've gotten to connect with undergraduates and staff and just a lot of people that normally, maybe because of our majors, we don't have those conditions to come into contact with them. And through these friendships, I just want to share a little story. But last year, I had to have a small procedure done for my heart, a surgery. And not many people knew about this, but somehow it leaked for my Buddhist community. And those were the people who, one of them was doing rotations in the med school, and she went to my bed. She found where I was and came to me right when I came out of surgery and just held my hand. And then another friend, I wasn't able to like walk or do much. He came and got groceries for me. And just, it really just meant so much to me to have people there when things in life don't go that well. But it showed me, you know, how kind people are. And so I've really appreciated these friendships and the support.
Thank you for sharing those stories and really illustrating that sense of community and belonging that comes in the various communities that we have. So the next questions that we have are around engaging with spiritual and religious practice on campus, and also how to stay involved. Stanford is a very busy place. I think once the gears start turning, there's so many things that are going on. And so there were questions around how do you stay engaged, and then also how do you make the time to stay engaged. And I invite Aparna and Oscar to take these two questions.
So thank you, Gift. So I would like to mention that there are like different events organized by the Hindu Students Association, and I personally don't attend all of them because because of the time constraint. But like the things which I'm really interested in, I do attend those. Like the weekly events that we have is one on Wednesday where we discuss the Bhagavad Gita, and then there is one on Sunday where we discuss the other scriptures called the Vedas, and also there are like monthly bhajan sessions and bi-monthly puzzle sessions. I mean puzzles related to Hindu history, so just a fun way for everyone to get involved. So I do involve myself. I do devote some time because it really helps me keep my mental balance. But at the same time, I like select which ones to attend and which ones I can uh, leave out. So that basically helps me manage my time as well.
And then Oscar.
Yeah, Stanford is a very busy place. When people ask me about Stanford, I tell them it's like a waterfall. It just starts and never ends, and you're just going down, drinking from the hose, and it's wonderful. But it is very busy, and also I feel as a Christian, it's also sometimes a very critical space of your faith. So I think it's all the more important to find a community where you can talk about these things and be connected. And, in terms of engagement, if you just have an hour and a half time to come to our main meeting or to be part of one of our small groups where we share in a more intimate, smaller group about our faith journey, that is fine. And if you have more time, then you can devote more time. But, it's not really an issue because, in my first 2 years, I was like taking all the hard machine learning classes, like dreaming of building my startup and, involved in other organizations and, all that. And yet somehow I always knew that faith was something which was really important for me. And while in the beginning, I wasn't in the same space as I'm today. And actually I've grown tremendously during this time at Stanford in my faith. And yeah, I just want to encourage you to do the same, to really prioritize it if it is something that you think matters in life, to match your spiritual growth to your intellectual growth here at Stanford. But sometimes, when finals are coming, you just don't have the time, and that's fine too. Like, we're here for you and not you for us.
And thank you for sharing that perspective. I think I also have something to add to this. I think, I found that in my own spiritual journey as I've been here, just carving out some time, it might be like 10, 20 minutes each day that you practice also helps you to stay engaged. And then you can sort of like dedicate maybe one day that you attend a group or that kind of thing. But certainly making time for it and prioritizing it makes that part of it easier. So to wrap things up, I think collectively we all have sort of all this wisdom that we've gathered over the years. And so I would like to hear from each of you the advice that you would give to your first year graduate student selves if you were starting school today. And we'll kick off with Aparna.
So, one advice I would like to, I mean, if I were to start again, so one advice I would give myself and to the new graduate students joining this year is that, I mean, if you're finding any difficulty and if you're having any trouble, never feel alone. Like it's good to invest in a community and also to reach out to the network and the community that you have built around you. And it's important to not feel alone.
Thank you. Up next, we have Diogo.
So if I was a first year student again, first, what Oscar said, I think it's super important to use this time at Stanford to kind of try to match your intellectual growth with also a strong spiritual growth, because after this, when we start working, you know, like it's going to be harder, even harder than when you're a student. Also, another thing is, so what the partner said also is super important, of course, like if you feel alone and all of that, but I want to have some added value. Let's try. I think one trick is to try to welcome others, to feel welcome. I think this is something that works a lot with me. It's like sometimes when I'm a bit insecure, I don't know the people and all of that, it's like, okay, I mean, let's pretend I belong here, you know, and then start talking to people and, you know, try to welcome other people that are first years and that are alone too. So it's kind of a work of mercy to try to welcome others, and you also need welcome, and you guys both feel welcome. It's a great thing. And also, yeah, don't worry if you feel alone in the first months, even in the first year. I felt like that. It's totally normal. Some friendships take time to build, you know, and but once you build them, it's really great. And so another advice would be take time to build friendships. Best time.
Thanks, Diogo. Up next, we have Elaine.
This is a great question. First off the bat, take one day off a week. And whether that's for spirituality or just taking care of yourself, being with family and nature, just take a day off. The other thing I want to say specific to Stanford students, something I've noticed here, your human worth is not tied to your productivity. And at the end of the day of, you know, the years of your life, like what I remember are the people I cared for and the people who cared for me. And I think we need to treat every day, every year of our lives that way to really find a sense of joy and meaning in our day-to-day, our year-to-year. So know that your worth is so much more. And, you know, the religious groups on campus are here for you to explore that.
Thank you so much for that, Elaine. Next, we'll have Oscar.
Well, let me start with some cliche advice. Don't take too many too hard classes. Leave yourself some time to breathe, but you will ignore it anyways. I did. So I'll instead give you some practical advice. There are a lot of great student organizations that cater to your faith. And I just want to mention a few others too. There is Ivy Grad, there's RUF, and there are many more. And I'm happy to connect you with any of those if they might be a better match for you than Chi Alpha. And, you know, maybe you've heard of the Stanford shopping thing. Like you shop your classes in the first like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So be welcome to do the same. but I also encourage you to, at some point, commit to somewhere where you feel at home and make that your community and not stay between different communities and not really have a proper community which you call home. So I think that is something that I wish I had earlier committed to, Chi Alpha or whichever community you want to be part of. And a great way, also a little hack, if you are willing to put in the time, if you volunteer, you can really deeper connect with some of the core people there who have a heart to serve the community. And that leads to really great friendships too.
Thank you. I second what you had to say about volunteering. I think for me, volunteering has helped me to engage much more with Memorial Church in my time here. We'll next hear from Saba.
Yeah, so I really want to echo what Elaine said about your worth being more than just your research productivity. And I think something that everyone discovers when coming to grad school is that like it's much, much more of an emotional roller coaster than anticipated. Even like more than an intellectual roller coaster, it's truly like an emotionally trying thing. And I think having a religious community that you can turn to, and it's full of people that are kind of going through similar stuff. It's like a support group in some sense. And it can really help to remember that there is kind of more to life than this. And the fact that there's this kind of emotional trial in your life is not everything. And there are kind of more important things in life. And connected to that, in terms of advice for myself as a first-year grad student, I think I would advise myself to build more relationships within my religious community earlier, just because the relationships I did make have been really, really valuable. And I think the first year was like a particularly difficult time for me. And it would have been nice to have that additional support early on.
And we'll next hear from Zainab.
I think I just want to, I mean, there have been a lot of like on point things that people have been saying. A very practical way of making that happen, of like recognizing your worth, getting involved with different communities, and understanding your productivity, understanding your worth outside of your productivity, all of that. I think one of the very practical things that I would encourage my first year self, as well as any other person who this may apply to, would be to give yourself a lot of validation around like actually self-talk, engage in self-talk and validation around like you are just a human who is working hard and is trying your best, and not being the best or not feeling like you're the best is okay. It's okay to like have those feelings, sit with it, let it kind of just experience those feelings. And giving yourself a lot of that validation can be very helpful, especially when the academic space becomes very intense and expectations are really high. I think that self-talk and that self-validation can be a practical step into making that happen.
Thank you. I think if I can also quickly chime in with some advice, I think one thing that's really unique about Stanford is we have many different faith backgrounds represented here, and there are many opportunities to engage with each other. One that I mentioned was the Fellowship for Religious Life that the Office for Religious Life runs, and I found that a very valuable experience. So as you are also kind of finding home in your communities, take time to reach out and connect with people from other backgrounds. With that, I would like to thank all our panelists for contributing to the conversation. And at this point, I will hand it back to Colleen, who will usher us into the next part of the program.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Gift, and all of our panelists for sharing your experience with us today, and in service of the new students that are here today and will experience this. I hope new students, you will connect and find ways to connect in this coming academic year.